Have you ever found yourself sitting down for a conversation with your child only to feel like they're not really listening? Maybe it's their distracted glance, the eye roll, or the sharp "I know mom/dad" response that you've gotten all too familiar with? It can be frustrating, right? It might leave you feeling like you've lost the connection you once had and that respect has slipped through the cracks. It's tough when you've spent years raising your children, giving them your time, love, and advice, and now it feels like your words carry little weight. As we age, the dynamics with our children can change, and it can feel like we're becoming more like a figure from the past rather than an active, respected part of their present life. But don't worry, if you're facing this struggle, there's one powerful thing you can do to regain their respect and make your voice heard again. In this video, I'm going to share with you one key thing that can shift the way your children see you and make them truly listen when you speak. This isn't just about trying to command respect or enforce control. It's about re-establishing trust and demonstrating that you are an active, respected part of their life in a way that feels natural and sincere. I know this can be hard, but it's possible, and you can start today. We're going to break this down in a way that's easy to understand, and by the end of this video, you'll have a clearer idea of how to make your children listen and, more importantly, how to get them to respect you again. The first step, lead by example. If you're wondering where to start, this is it. Lead by example. It might sound simple, but it's often the most powerful way to regain respect. Your children, no matter how old they are always watching. They're observing your actions, your behavior, and your reactions, even when you don't realize it. And that's exactly why leading by example works. It's not about telling them what they should do or what you want them to do. It's about showing them through your own actions. Think about it. When we were younger, we likely respected our parents not just because they told us what to do, but because they lived according to the values they preached. They showed us how to treat others with kindness, how to handle conflict, and how to face challenges with grace. The respect came from seeing them live out what they taught us. As we get older, it can sometimes feel like those lessons aren't as obvious anymore. Life changes, and sometimes it feels like we're not being as present as we once were. But when you choose to lead by example, you are demonstrating to your children that respect is earned through consistent actions, not just words. And this can work wonders in regaining their trust. Take, for example, Linda, a 72-year-old mother who noticed that her adult children were starting to distance themselves emotionally. Her daughter Jessica would cut their conversations short, and her son Mike rarely called her unless it was necessary. Linda found herself frustrated, feeling like they didn't respect her anymore. She decided to make a change. Instead of continuing to nag about how they didn't call enough or spend time with her, Linda shifted her focus to being the kind of person she wanted her children to respect. She started prioritizing her own well-being by maintaining healthy habits, such as exercising daily and setting aside time to relax and enjoy hobbies. Linda showed them how to be resilient and independent even in her 70s. She also focused on being present in their lives in a way that wasn't overbearing. When they called or visited, she showed genuine interest in what was going on in their lives, without offering unsolicited advice. Over time, Linda noticed a change. Jessica started reaching out more frequently, and Mike began to invite her to family events. She hadn't said anything directly about her desire for more respect or attention, but by leading by example, she was able to re-establish the connection and respect that had been slipping away. This story highlights how important it is to show through your actions what you want to receive. When you lead with integrity, resilience, and kindness, your children will begin to see you in a new light, and that respect will follow. The second step, establish healthy boundaries. Another essential piece of the puzzle when it comes to regaining respect is setting clear, healthy boundaries. It's easy to fall into a pattern of over-giving or being too permissive, especially when we want to maintain a strong relationship with our children. But boundaries are key, not only in preserving your energy and well-being, but also in fostering mutual respect. When we don't set boundaries, we can end up feeling exhausted, taken advantage of, or even resentful. This dynamic doesn't just hurt you, it can also damage the relationship you share with your children. They may take your kindness for granted, unknowingly expecting too much of you. This is often when the feelings of disrespect start to creep in. Setting boundaries isn't about being harsh or unloving. It's about communicating what you need to feel respected and maintaining a healthy balance in your relationship. This might involve saying no to things you're not comfortable with, asking for more time for yourself, or limiting the amount of emotional labor you take on from others. It's about recognizing that your time, energy, and feelings are just as important as everyone else's. Take Janet, a 75-year-old mother of 2 grown children. For years, Janet had been the go-to person for everyone in her family. She was always the one they turned to for advice, emotional support, and help with various tasks. Over time, Janet started to feel drained, and her relationship with her children began to feel more like an obligation than a connection. She realized that in her desire to keep the peace and be there for everyone, she had neglected her own needs. One day, Janet decided to set boundaries. She had a calm conversation with her children, explaining that while she loved them deeply, she needed more time to care for herself and pursue her own interests. It wasn't an easy conversation, but she was clear and kind in expressing her needs. After that conversation, she noticed a shift. Her children respected her more, and their relationship became more balanced. Janet had set a healthy boundary that allowed her to reclaim her respect without pushing them away. Setting boundaries is one of the most effective ways to regain respect, especially if you've been sacrificing your own needs for the sake of others. By doing so, you're teaching your children that you deserve the same level of respect and consideration that you give to them. The third step, practice active listening. The final piece of the puzzle is learning how to be a better listener. This may seem like a small change, but when you actively listen to your children, it can have a huge impact on how they perceive you and how they treat you in return. Active listening isn't just about hearing what your children say. It's about being present in the moment, acknowledging their feelings, and showing them that you truly value their opinions. It's easy to feel like you're the one always giving advice, but remember that listening without judgment is just as important. Take the case of Tom, a 71-year-old father who struggled with his son Matt. Matt, in his mid-40s, was going through some personal challenges and wasn't very open with Tom. He often felt like his father didn't understand him. One day, Tom realized that instead of offering solutions or advice right away, he needed to listen first. He made a conscious effort to simply be there for Matt, offering him a listening ear without rushing to fix the situation. Over time, Matt started to open up more, and their relationship deepened. Tom's willingness to listen without judgment restored the respect and trust between them. When you listen actively, you not only learn more about what's going on in your children's lives, but you also show them that you care about their thoughts and feelings. And in turn, that deepens the mutual respect and connection. Let's dive into the next set of strategies that will help you not only regain their respect, but also maintain a strong, balanced relationship going forward. 4. Be open to change and growth. One of the hardest things as we age is the idea that we stop growing or learning. Many of us feel that we've reached a place in life where we've seen it all, experienced it all, and have nothing more to prove. But this mindset can be a barrier to gaining respect, especially from younger generations, including your children. In their eyes, if you aren't open to change, growth, or learning new things, you risk becoming stuck in your ways and less relatable. Being open to growth doesn't mean you have to change who you are, but it does mean that you show your children that you're still adaptable, open-minded, and willing to learn. This is a powerful way to show respect for the evolving world around you and the lives your children are leading. Let's take the example of Linda, a 72-year-old grandmother who had always been hesitant about technology. She didn't understand smartphones or social media, and she often dismissed the things her children were so passionate about. She found herself disconnected from her children, who often seemed to live in a world that felt foreign to her. But after a few gentle nudges from her daughter, Linda decided to take a course on using social media and started texting her children and grandchildren regularly. At first, it was a struggle, but as she got the hang of it, Linda found that her relationships with her children deepened. They saw her as someone who was not afraid to try new things, and they respected her willingness to adapt. Linda's story is a great reminder that growth isn't just for the younger generation, it's for everyone. By showing that you're willing to learn and embrace new experiences, you create a sense of respect based on your ability to adapt and engage with the world around you, including the changes in your children's lives. 5. Offer praise and encouragement, not just advice. One of the most natural instincts for a parent is to give advice. We've spent years raising our children, guiding them, and imparting wisdom. But sometimes advice can feel like criticism, especially if it's unsolicited or if it's coming from a place of control. Instead of focusing solely on offering advice, try shifting your approach to offering praise and encouragement. Your children, no matter their age, still need to feel supported. By highlighting their achievements, expressing pride in their efforts, and encouraging them when they face challenges, you show them respect and trust in their abilities. This kind of support can be more powerful than advice, and it helps to rebuild the respect that might have been lost over the years. Take Tom, for instance, who had always been a bit critical of his son's career choices. He'd constantly suggest new directions and offer unsolicited advice. But his son, Mike, started to feel like his father didn't trust him to make his own decisions. After reflecting on their relationship, Tom decided to change his approach. Instead of offering advice, he started recognizing Mike's hard work and congratulating him on the progress he made in his career. This shift from criticism to encouragement had a profound impact. Mike began to open up more and appreciate his father's support, and Tom noticed a positive shift in their relationship. This doesn't mean you should stop offering advice when it's necessary, but instead, make sure that praise and encouragement are also a consistent part of your interactions. By focusing more on their successes and positive qualities, you encourage an atmosphere of mutual respect, making it easier for your children to listen to your guidance when it's needed. 6. Understand their perspective. Another key element of regaining respect is understanding where your children are coming from, especially as they get older and begin to form their own beliefs and values. As a parent, it's easy to feel like you know best, especially after years of experience. But it's important to recognize that your children might be facing challenges and life circumstances that are different from what you experienced. They might have different pressures, goals, or even values that shape their decisions. When you truly try to understand their perspective, not only do you show empathy, but you also open the door for more meaningful conversations. The more you understand their struggles, joys, and challenges, the better you can communicate in a way that resonates with them. This was the case for Diane, a 70-year-old mother who was having difficulty understanding why her son James had chosen a career path that was so different from her expectations. For years, Diane tried to guide him toward a more conventional career, believing it was the right choice. However, after a heartfelt conversation, Diane took the time to really listen to James about his passion for music and his desire to help others through his art. Diane realized that her son's perspective was not so different from hers. He just wanted to make an impact in a way that felt authentic to him. After that, she expressed her support for his choices, and their relationship grew stronger. This shift from judgment to understanding helped Diane regain James' respect, because he saw that his mother was not only willing to accept his choices, but she also respected his individual journey. When you make the effort to understand your children's perspective, it allows you to be more empathetic and strengthens your bond, building a strong foundation for future respect. As you can see, regaining your children's respect isn't about simply issuing commands or reprimanding them. It's about fostering a relationship built on understanding, empathy, and mutual respect. By leading by example, setting healthy boundaries, staying open to change, offering praise and encouragement, and understanding their perspective, you're creating an environment where respect can thrive naturally. Now that we've covered these critical steps, let's dive deeper into more ways to reconnect and communicate effectively with your children. We'll look at how to navigate tricky conversations and offer some final strategies to make sure the respect you've regained remains strong and lasting. So far, we've talked about a few effective ways to regain the respect of your children: leading by example, setting healthy boundaries, being open to change, offering praise and encouragement, and understanding their perspective. These steps are foundational for rebuilding the trust and respect that may have slipped away. But there's still more to explore. Respect isn't just something that can be regained, it's something that must be continually nurtured. In this part, we'll dive into some final strategies for strengthening your relationship with your children and ensuring that the respect you've earned doesn't fade away over time. 7. Foster open communication. One of the most important factors in maintaining respect is keeping the lines of communication open. It's easy for misunderstandings to arise when communication is one-sided or infrequent. Sometimes parents and children drift apart emotionally because they don't take the time to really listen to each other's concerns, feelings, and ideas. Think about Sarah, a 70-year-old woman who had always been close to her son, but as he got older, their relationship seemed to grow more distant. She often felt like she was being ignored or misunderstood. One day, after a tense exchange, Sarah realized that part of the problem was a lack of open communication. Instead of waiting for things to get better on their own, she decided to start a conversation with her son in a calm and open way. She told him how much she valued their relationship and that she wanted to understand more about what was going on in his life. Instead of giving advice or trying to solve his problems, she listened. Slowly, her son began to open up about his challenges and frustrations, and Sarah was able to better understand his perspective. That conversation marked the start of better communication between them, and Sarah noticed that her son began to respect her opinion again. Open communication isn't just about having a conversation when things are going wrong. It's about regularly checking in with your children, asking about their lives, and offering a safe space where they feel comfortable sharing their thoughts with you. When your children know they can come to you without judgment, they're more likely to listen to what you have to say, and that respect will naturally grow. 8. Show consistency and reliability. Respect isn't just earned through grand gestures, it's also built on consistent actions over time. One of the most powerful ways to maintain respect is by being reliable and dependable in your relationships. When you consistently show up for your children, whether it's through small acts of kindness or simply being there when they need you, you reinforce the idea that you are trustworthy and that they can rely on you. Take the case of Frank, a 74-year-old father who always kept his promises, no matter how small. He made sure to show up for family gatherings, call his children regularly, and offer support whenever they needed it. Over time, his children learned that they could count on him, and that consistency fostered a deep respect for him as a father and role model. They no longer saw him as just the parent, but as someone whose word mattered and who took responsibility for the relationship. By showing up consistently and being there for your children, you demonstrate that you are not only trustworthy, but also willing to invest in the relationship. Reliability builds a solid foundation of respect that goes beyond occasional advice or actions. It shows your children that you're a steady presence in their lives and that they can count on you for emotional support, guidance, and love. 9. Allow them to make their own mistakes. Sometimes, in our desire to help our children avoid pain or failure, we overstep our boundaries by trying to protect them from every possible mistake. But here's the thing, mistakes are a natural part of life, and they are often the best teachers. When you allow your children, whether they're adults or young adults, to make their own mistakes, you show them that you respect their ability to learn and grow on their own terms. Take the example of Robert, a 72-year-old father who had always been overprotective of his daughter Emma. He was so used to making decisions for her and offering constant advice that he didn't realize how much he was stifling her independence. After a heartfelt conversation, Robert realized that Emma needed to make her own decisions and learn from her mistakes, even if it meant struggling a bit. Once Robert started letting go and allowing Emma to make her own choices, he saw her confidence grow and their relationship became more balanced. Emma felt respected as an adult capable of handling her own challenges, and Robert realized that stepping back allowed their respect for each other to flourish. Allowing your children to make their own mistakes isn't easy, but it's an important part of showing respect for their autonomy and growth. It might be difficult to watch, but by stepping back and offering support without intervening, you encourage their independence and maturity. 10. Be patient and understanding with their life stages. Life is full of phases and stages, and your children's journey is no exception. Just as you've gone through different stages of your life, so too have they. and they will continue to evolve. As they get older, their priorities may change, and the way they view their relationship with you may shift as well. It's important to be patient and understanding during these transitions. Take the case of Grace, a 70-year-old mother who had always been deeply involved in her children's lives. As they got older, her children began to establish their own families and careers. Grace initially felt hurt and neglected by their growing distance, but over time she realized that her children were simply going through new phases of their own lives. Instead of being resentful, Grace took the time to understand their struggles, offered support when needed, and respected their space. Gradually, Grace found that her children started reaching out more, understanding that she wasn't demanding attention, but rather offering unconditional love and patience. Respect often grows out of an understanding of the different stages your children are in. When you can embrace those transitions without judgment, it strengthens your relationship and helps you maintain mutual respect. Building a legacy of respect. As we've seen, regaining your children's respect isn't about commanding obedience, it's about fostering mutual understanding, empathy, and connection. By leading by example, communicating openly, setting boundaries, showing consistency, and allowing space for growth, you create an environment where respect can thrive naturally. This process is ongoing, but the rewards are invaluable. As you continue to show love, patience, and understanding to your children, you will notice that respect grows in both directions. Your children will listen more, value your advice, and most importantly, respect you for who you are, not just as their parent, but as a person who deserves to be heard. We've covered a lot of ground so far, from leading by example and setting boundaries to understanding your children's perspective and fostering open communication. These strategies are all essential for regaining and maintaining the respect you deserve. But I know you might still have a few questions or concerns about how to put these ideas into practice, especially in the real world when emotions can run high and situations can feel tricky. In this part, we'll explore some practical advice to help you implement these strategies in your everyday life. We'll also answer some frequently asked questions that parents often ask when they're trying to rebuild their relationship with their children. Realistic advice for rebuilding respect. 1. Take small steps. It's important to remember that regaining respect doesn't happen overnight. Don't expect immediate changes or assume that your children will suddenly start listening or respecting you just because you've made a few adjustments. This process takes time, and consistency is key. Start with small steps that you can manage. Perhaps begin by practicing active listening more often, or setting one healthy boundary that feels doable. As you see the positive results from these changes, you'll feel more encouraged to continue. Over time, your children will start to notice the changes in your behavior, and the respect will grow naturally. If you're worried that making too many changes all at once will be overwhelming, focus on one area. For example, try focusing on being more patient and understanding for a week, and then shift to setting boundaries the following week. Taking small, manageable steps will help you build momentum without feeling frustrated. 2. Be honest about your expectation. Sometimes we don't get the respect we want because we haven't been clear about our expectations. If you feel that your children are disrespecting you, have an honest conversation with them about how you're feeling. Be clear about what you need from them in terms of respect and communication. This doesn't mean being demanding or judgmental. It's about setting healthy expectations that are rooted in love and understanding. Tell them that you value their opinion and their time, and that you expect the same in return. Explain how their actions, whether it's being dismissive, not listening, or not following through on promises, affect you, and make sure they understand that you want to find a way to connect and communicate better. Being upfront about your expectations not only helps to clarify your needs, but also gives your children the opportunity to correct any behavior they may not have realized was hurtful or disrespectful. 3. Stay calm and respectful during difficult conversations. Conversations about respect can get emotional, and it's easy to feel hurt or defensive. However, staying calm and respectful is one of the most powerful things you can do to regain respect. If you raise your voice, get angry, or criticize your children, it's more likely to escalate the situation rather than resolve it. Instead, try to maintain a calm tone and focus on expressing your feelings without blaming or attacking. Use I statements to communicate how their behavior affects you. For example, instead of saying, "You never listen to me," try saying, "I feel hurt when I don't feel heard." This approach keeps the conversation more constructive and less likely to lead to conflict. Staying calm also sets a great example for your children. They'll learn how to handle difficult conversations with grace and maturity, which only adds to the mutual respect in your relationship. Frequently asked questions. Q1. What if my children are adults and don't seem to care anymore? This is a common concern, especially as children grow older and start building their own lives. You may feel that they no longer need you or that they don't value your opinion, but the truth is, even adult children can still deeply value their parents' wisdom and guidance. What changes is how that respect is communicated. As an adult, your children may be dealing with challenges that make them more focused on their own independence. However, showing consistent love, patience, and understanding without being overbearing can help maintain the respect they still have for you. Engage in honest, heartfelt conversations with them about how much you value your relationship and your desire to continue being a part of their lives. Remember, they may not always express it outwardly, but deep down, they likely still look up to you. Keep nurturing the connection, and respect will follow. Q2. How can I regain respect if I've already made mistakes or acted disrespectfully myself? If you've made mistakes or have acted in ways that hurt your children, it's important to acknowledge that and take responsibility. Everyone makes mistakes, and apologizing sincerely is the first step to rebuilding respect. Your children are more likely to respect you if they see you take accountability for your actions. Start by apologizing for any past behavior that might have contributed to the breakdown in your relationship. Be specific about what you're apologizing for and express how much you regret any pain you may have caused. From there, show through your actions that you're committed to making positive changes. Your children will likely appreciate your honesty and maturity, and this can open the door for healing and rebuilding the trust and respect in your relationship. Q3. What if my children are still disrespectful even after I've tried all of these steps? If your children continue to act disrespectfully despite your efforts, it can be incredibly disheartening. But even in these difficult situations, it's important to maintain your own dignity. Keep applying the principles of healthy boundaries, open communication, and patience. It might take time for your children to come around. They may need space to reflect and grow themselves before they're ready to show the respect you're seeking. In the meantime, continue living with integrity, showing them by your example what respect looks like, and maintaining your own self-respect. Sometimes seeking outside help, like family counseling, can provide an opportunity for everyone to address underlying issues in a safe and constructive way. If you feel like your relationship is at a standstill, therapy or mediation could help facilitate communication and foster understanding on both sides. Q4. How do I handle feeling like my children are too busy to connect? It's common for adult children to get caught up in their own busy lives, especially with work, family, and other commitments. If your children seem too busy to connect, it's important to acknowledge that their schedules are hectic. But that doesn't mean they don't care about you. Instead of being hurt by their lack of availability, try to adjust your expectations and approach. Send a thoughtful message or a simple text to let them know you're thinking of them without putting pressure on them to respond immediately. And when you do have time to connect, make the most of it by focusing on quality, not quantity. Sometimes a simple phone call to check in or even sending a handwritten letter can go a long way in showing that you're still there for them without overwhelming them. I know that these situations can be tough, and many of you may have your own stories or questions about how to navigate challenging relationships with your children. I'd love to hear from you. Have you found any strategies that have worked for you in rebuilding respect with your children? Or maybe you're currently facing a challenge that you'd like advice on. Don't hesitate to share your thoughts or questions in the comments below. If this video resonated with you, please give it a thumbs up, share it with others who might benefit, and subscribe for more tips on building strong, respectful relationships with the people people who matter most. We've explored a variety of strategies to help you regain your children's respect, including leading by example, setting healthy boundaries, fostering open communication, and showing empathy for their perspective. We've also answered some frequently asked questions to ensure that you feel confident applying these steps in real-life situations. Now it's time to take action and begin implementing these changes step by step. At the end of the day, the most important thing to remember is that respect is a two-way street. It's not something that can be demanded or forced. It's something that is cultivated through mutual understanding, patience, and a willingness to grow together. By consistently applying these principles, you can begin to rebuild the strong, respectful relationship that you deserve with your children. If you found this video helpful, don't wait. Take the first step today. Pick one area to focus on and start making small, consistent changes. Maybe it's setting clearer boundaries or starting a conversation with your children to open up communication. You don't have to tackle everything at once. Progress happens when you take it one day at a time. Start by making the effort to show your children that you respect them as individuals. Actively listen to their concerns, offer encouragement and support, and be open to understanding their lives. This will not only make them feel heard, but will also inspire them to do the same for you. You'll be amazed at how small actions can lead to a big shift in the way they listen to you. And if you're unsure where to start, ask yourself, what's one thing I can do today to show my children that I value and respect them? It could be a phone call, a kind message, or simply taking the time to listen without giving advice. Now, let's get started. Take a moment right after watching this video to put one of these strategies into practice, whether it's setting aside time for an honest conversation or simply practicing more patience with your children. The key is to begin. Change takes time, but by starting now, you're on the path to building stronger, more respectful relationships that will last. In the next video, we'll dive into another topic that's crucial for building better relationships: how to communicate with empathy and without judgment, especially when dealing with sensitive or difficult topics. Being able to communicate with empathy will not only improve your relationships with your children, but will also help you navigate conflicts in a healthy way. You won't want to miss it. As we close, remember that age doesn't determine your worth in your children's eyes. How you act, how you engage with them, and how you communicate your needs and respect matters more. Rebuilding respect takes time, but it's never too late to start. With patience, effort, and consistency, you can create the kind of relationship where mutual respect flows naturally. So go ahead, start today. Embrace the journey, knowing that your efforts will lead to stronger, more meaningful connections. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video has given you the tools and confidence to take the first step toward regaining your children's respect. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insightful content, and please leave your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. I'd love to hear how you're applying these strategies in your own life. Here's to building healthier, more respectful relationships with the people who matter most, your children. Keep moving forward, and remember, respect is built on love, understanding, and genuine connection. You've got this.